Hey, kia ora mai tātou, te whānau. Welcome back at Kaitaki Marakai. This is the way to go here in my garage. It's a bit of a wet day and cloudy. So I thought what I'll do is I'll just make a series of videos, or I might edit them and put them all into one video, where I'm showing you how I prepare and make up a worm composting system. As you know, part of the Hua Parekore kaupapa in regards to Māori organic verification is understanding te Aotearoa and your place in it and your impact in the environment. And one of the key crucial fixtures to having good kai, healthy kai, is soil health. So you would have seen earlier in my previous videos that I've been running worm farms for about 3 years now. And this year, back in April, I started creating these worm farm systems. Firstly, in part, is that I'm needing more worm juice and worm poop, which is what we'll see under here. That's my permaculture space. I'll just show you what we've got in here. So here's my worm system. So here's some fruit, and you should see some whole lot of worms down there. But if I do, there's one worm there. If I do a bit of digging, look at that, all these worms. So here's some kai down there, probably avocado, and they just mulch away at it. Both nitrogen and carbon is needed, and a combination of that, kind of like in my big worm farm, a lasagna. But in the case of this one here, I've got 29 of these, and so yeah, I'm actually going to prepare this part as if I'm ready to deliver it as a system, or prep it to make up a fully functional composting system for someone's backyard. Now, if you wanted to, you could just do what I've done here, have a small one, which is I've found that these kitty litter containers are just the right size. I've got 20 of these around the place and some other ones. So for example, I'll just swing around here. So there's 3 there. I've just taken an old plastic container. That's actually the one I first started with. And we've now got this system that's going on. But if I was just by myself and I was needing something, this is what you'd get. You would get at least 2-month-old starter kit, which this part here is that you would use this to inoculate your own system that you're at home, and I'll show you how we're doing that. But this is made up of at least 150 worms. I count out 125. I normally put 10% in. Then what I do is I generally grab a handful, and there may be another 40 to 50 worms in there. So I say conservatively we've got 100 odd worms digging away and eating, as you can see, all these lovely worms in there. So there's a number of ways that you can do it. You can have sifted worm castings that you're only wanting to use for your garden and to add active microorganisms and fungi to your garden and to encourage the health. So you could have a sifted fixture. So what I do is for every kilogram or bag, it's $15, and the bag kind of works out to about 2 kilograms to 3 kilograms, depending on the size of what's going on. So I try to get it around that 3 2 to 3 figure, and it's $15 just for the vermiculture. So that means what I've done is I've gone another step than this is, so if you're wanting to start a worm system, you get this plus some worm meeting and you're away. But here, if you just want the worm castings to feed your garden, then we have to go through a sifting process to do that. In here, I probably could get 2 bags of worm castings, and then all the raw material, the food, the bricks, the sticks, and all that type of stuff would just go into it. I'd create another container like this, and I'd use all those and start the process again. But this is a 2-month process that we've got here, and so what I'll do is I'll show you what I do for my worms after they're done. But if you have a look at this material here, look at that. That's worm castings. That's poop, worm poop. So they eat all the material that's in there, regurgitate it down, and poop it out. There's also worm eggs, or they call them worm cells. So that's why I want to leave it for a couple of months, because then it allows the process for regeneration to happen. So if you're buying this kit in here, you're going to get, you'll get a little bit of, I won't have too many big sticks in there, but after 2 months to 3 months, depending on how long I hold on to them, you'll have a whole lot of worms like we've got in here, and you get this whole lot. And I'll bag it, and I've got one already bagged, so I'll show you what it looks like. But you get all this material. So in here you get 150 to 200 worms. You will get the worm castings as it is, and you'll get the material that's in here, plus I'll give you some bedding that you put them inside. And then after that, all you have to do is add your food, your carbon, and make sure the mixture's fine. If you're using a little system like this, like if you're a single person in a 1-unit flat, for example, you might want to use this. You just have this sitting somewhere. I've got it in the garage, but you could have it on your balcony or something like that. As you can see here, and all I do is I just have a cover. If it's near the rain, you might just find a cover on top, but the worms need aerating or air. And then you can just dig a tunnel or a channel in here and put your food waste in that you might have had for that week. And then probably every 7 days you're going to feed it. I also add in crushed up eggshells, as kind of, they like eggs. They chew on those. And for me, it helps the worms in regards to their digestive system, but it means too that they're actually in here. If I was just using the worm poop, the worm castings, I've now got calcium in this mix, which helps the soil out. But I'm just going to walk outside and I'll show you what I normally send out or deliver, and then the next part after that, I'm actually just going to show you how I do up a worming system utilising a bought packages that someone's asked me to set up a worm farm for them, so I said I'll do that. So yeah, let's just walk outside, but that's how it starts. So we've got 20 of these going around the place. We're going to do a workshop on worm farming and permaculture and worm juice and worm tea and not permaculture, worm castings. But yeah, hope you enjoy it. Anyway, let's just go have a quick look. I'll walk out here. And so coming to the coolness of the evening, and so here's one I've been working on previously. So there's the container. All I've done, there's been no sifting. So this is for someone that's wanting to start their own worm composting system. And so here I have here it is. And here we've got all the stuff that you see in top. What I'd normally do if I was going to deliver this, I'd poke hole in courier it or something. I'd poke holes in here just so they can breathe. But everything you saw in that container sits in there. And what I try to do is that is what you'll get. You'll get a date of when it was put together, what's inside, plus the video that you've seen. And in here, it was 3.3 or something like that, so I rounded it down, and so you'll get 3 kilograms of worm starter kit, which is quite a bit, and I take that and I utilise that and start out what our worm farm could look like. So you could either use a container like that, or you can use a system that the couple or the family that I got the system from, they bought it off Trade Me, so it was recycled, and I'm just going to put it together for them, get them started, and use this as my inoculation starter kit for their worm farms. What I've done is I've saved up some food scraps, so then they'll have food scraps, worm castings, plus carbon into the materials. And so they'll have their own functional worm farm that will have a number of abilities. It'll be tiered, so they can have layers, so as one level gets full, they can then add on more material the next lot, and the worms will go up. They'll also have a catching system, so all the juice that goes through, it'll catch the juice, and then they can use that to fertilise their garden, the wainoke. Okay, I'm just going to go and switch around and move around, and yeah, stay tuned and watch the next part. But that's what you get. That's what will come to you if you're wanting to start your own worm composting system. So you get 3 kilograms of worms, plus worm castings, worm eggs, raw material in there, ready to go. Okay.